So in our earlier classes, we have already discussed about magnetic effect of current. And in magnetic effect of current, I have told you that the magnetic field at the center of any circular coil happens to be B is equals to mu naught I upon 2A. So in case of magnetic effect of current, I have told you that every circular coil, suppose this is a circular coil having some current I flowing through it, then at the center of this circular coil, the magnetic field B is equals to mu naught I upon 2A. So this you are already aware of it. Now, in case of any atom, every revolving electron around the nucleus. So if there is an atom, suppose this is the nucleus of that particular atom, and if an electron is revolving around this nucleus in a circular orbit with some velocity v, so the velocity of the electron happens to be v, and this radius happens to be r, then this revolving electron will constitute a current. So why current is being going to constituted? You all know that the current is a steady flow of electrons. So electrons in an orbit revolving around the nucleus goes with a constant velocity v. So I is equals to q by t. How much is the charge revolving? The charge revolving happens to be E, and the time taken by this charge to go around the nucleus in a circular orbit will be 2 pi r upon v, and if I simplify this, you will get ev upon 2 pi r. Now this current I is equals to ev upon 2 pi r is called as atomic current. So you need to understand that every electron revolving round the nucleus inside an atom behaves like a circular current carrying coil. Now, since this electron while revolving around the nucleus behaves like a circular current carrying coil, so this is very much similar to this current carrying coil. So the magnetic field due to this electron at the center of the atom will be, or at the nucleus will be, mu naught upon 2. The radius of the atom is r, and I, that is the current that is generated. So the current generated will be EV upon 2 pi r. So if I simplify this, so I will get the magnetic field at the center of any atom will be V is equals to mu naught EV upon 4 pi r square. Now this is the magnetic field generated at the center of every atom. Now we have also studied in our previous class that whenever we are talking about a current carrying loop being placed in a magnetic field, it starts experiencing a torque. So every current carrying loop behaves like a magnetic dipole, and the dipole moment of a current carrying loop was given by NIA. So you need to understand that every current carrying loop, every current carrying loop is a magnetic dipole with a dipole moment PC. And what is PC? PC is given over here. So this is also a current carrying loop. I've just now told you that every electron revolving around the nucleus behaves like a current carrying loop, having the current value EV upon 2 pi r. So if I want to find the dipole moment associated with any atom, so dipole moment of any atom will be n1, since I'm talking about say hydrogen like atom, so I will be having only one electron, so n will be 1. The value of current is EV upon 2 pi r, and the area of this loop will be pi r square. So this r and this r square goes, this pi and this pi goes. So I get the dipole moment of associated atom will be EV r upon 2. So in a nutshell, I can put forward to you two very important points associated with atomic magnetism. First of all, every revolving electron behaves like a circular current carrying coil having a current value is specified by this particular expression. Due to this current carrying coil, I have got a magnetic field generated at the center of the atom, and every circular current carrying coil behaves like a, every current carrying loop behaves like a magnetic dipole. So this electron while revolving was behaving like a current carrying loop, and thus it produces a magnetic dipole moment given by the expression EVR upon 2. Now these 3 points are very, very important for all of you to understand. Kindly make a note of it. Now, knowing this fact that every revolving electron behaves like a current carrying loop, you can see over here in this particular diagram an electron which is circulating around the nucleus. This is the nucleus, and we have already derived the expression for the current or the atomic current. Also, we know that every circular current carrying loop has got some magnetic field associated with it, and we have also find the expression for the magnetic moment of that circular current carrying loop. Knowing all these facts, I can assume that every atom is a magnet. Knowing this fact, that I can conclude that every atom behaves like a magnetic dipole. Now, magnetism is basically a phenomena which is associated with moving electrons, moving charged particle. And in this phenomena, we study that how one particle or how one material attract any other material. And the cause of this basic attraction or repulsion between two materials can be considered as, or can be considered to be arising from the fact that every electron revolving in its orbit is going to behave like a magnetic dipole. Apart from this orbital motion of electrons, you also need to understand that the electrons spin about its axis. So due to this spinning motion of electron also, a magnetic phenomena gets generated. But presently, the magnetic moment associated due to the spin of the electron is beyond our scope, so we are not going to discuss that part into detail over here. But you need to understand that every atomic magnet or every atomic magnetic effect is generated due to the orbital motion, which we have just now discussed, and due to the spin motion of the electrons. But presently we are going to discuss only about atomic magnets. Sorry, only about orbital motion of the electrons, the magnetic effect generated due to the orbital motion of the electron. Now, due to the spin motion of the electron, the magnetic moment that is generated is called as Bohr's magneton. So presently we are not going to discuss anything associated with the Bohr magneton, so we are leaving that part. Now the question comes, why If every electron behaves like a current carrying loop, and due to which atomic magnetism is generated, contributed by the orbital motion of the electron as well as the spin motion of the electron, then why this world does not exhibit the magnetic property everywhere? Why I can see certain materials only being able to show me the magnetic effect? For example, an ore of iron known as magnetite, which you must have often seen at many places. For example, in cases of the magnetic stickers that you get, over there you find that black color ore of iron magnetite Fe3O4. Similarly, in the speakers, you will find that core of the iron ore. Again, once again, the magnetite. So they definitely attract pieces of iron. They may attract pieces of steel, nickel, etc. But they won't attract the pieces of wood. They won't attract pieces of paper. So why not this entire world is a magnetic place? In order to understand this particular thing, we need to understand the atomic magnets or atomic magnetism in little more greater detail. Now, if any substance, suppose I have given a substance like this, and according to the Pauli's exclusion principle, see, let's say this is the orbitals of any atom. And suppose this orbitals of any atom has to be filled by certain number of electrons. Now, if this orbitals of any electron is filled by odd pair of electrons, a odd number of electrons, and these orbitals have unpaired electrons. So what you will observe, since it is having an unpaired of electrons, so magnetic moments are going to magnetic moments or atomic magnets will be directed in one specific direction. All the magnetic moments are going to be directed in one specific direction. So in such cases, there will be some net atomic magnetism. So in these cases, when you have got unpaired number of electrons in the orbit or in the orbitals, you will be having some net atomic magnetic moment, giving rise to magnetic materials. But to the contrary, suppose if I have got only paired electrons like this, in this case you can see I have got even number of electrons and all electrons are paired in its orbit. So since they have got paired electrons, the net atomic magnetic moment is 0. And since the net atomic magnetic moment is 0, such materials are not going to behave like a magnetic materials, and so they exhibit the non-magnetic properties. So the magnetic properties of any substance can be contributed due to the fact that whether there is net atomic magnetic moment or not. And this net atomic magnetic moment, from here onwards, I'm going to call it as intrinsic magnetic moment. So students, if any material has got intrinsic magnetic moment, then such substance can exhibit magnetic properties. If they have got zero intrinsic magnetic moment, because all atomic magnetic moment cancels out due to the paired electrons, then such materials will not exhibit any magnetism. So that can be basically thought of as the cause of certain material exhibiting their magnetic behavior or magnetic properties, while certain materials not exhibiting the magnetic properties. So up till now, whatsoever we have discussed, one should be able to understand that the magnetic behavior of a substance arises due to the intrinsic dipole moment and intrinsic magnetic moment arising, one, due to the orbital motion of the electrons in its orbit, and second, due to the spin magnetic moment or spin motion of the electrons, which we have discussed. If the net magnetic moment of the electrons does not cancel out each other due to unpaired electrons, then the material will exhibit magnetic properties. If the material has paired electrons and the net atomic magnetic moment cancels out each other, the material will not exhibit any magnetic behavior. So by this time you should be able to understand that every material will have atomic magnetic moments. Now, there are certain terms associated with magnetic substances. The first term that you need to understand is the intensity of magnetization. Now, what is intensity of magnetization? Suppose I have been given some sample of material. There is some sample of a material. So now every sample of material, this is a sample of any material. Now every sample of material will have intrinsic dipole moment. Now what is an intrinsic dipole moment? This is the atomic magnetic moment which arises due to the motion of the electrons. And if there are unpaired electrons, then only this atomic magnetic moment will come into existence. If there are paired electrons, then forget about this, even this atomic magnetic moment will be coming into existence. Now, suppose I have got a material whose atom is having unpaired electrons, and thereby some atomic magnetic moment gets associated by that particular material, and it starts exhibiting, the atom starts exhibiting some intrinsic magnetic dipole moment, and which I have taken into this account. Now, if these atomic magnets are randomly arranged, even then the material will not show any magnetic properties. You have to understand this. Now, how many atomic magnets or how many intrinsic dipole moments I am having for the materials per unit volume, that defines the intensity of magnetization. So what is intensity of magnetization? It is basically the density of atomic magnetic moment per unit volume of the material. तो बच्चों यहाँ पर कितने ये एटॉमिक मैग्नेटिक मोमेंट पर यूनिट वॉल्यूम है किसी भी गिवन सैंपल के अंदर, वो उसकी इंटेंसिटी ऑफ मैग्नेटाइजेशन को डिफाइन करता है. अब इंटेंसिटी ऑफ मैग्नेटाइजेशन ये आपको बताएगी कि मटेरियल कितना मैग्नेटाइज हो सकता है. अगर उसके पास ढेर सारे ये एटॉमिक मैग्नेट्स होंगे तो वो ज्यादा मैग्नेटाइज्ड होगा उस मटेरियल के कंपैरिजन में जिसमें कम ऐसे इंट्रिंसिक डाइपोल मोमेंट एसोसिएटेड है। तो इंटेंसिटी ऑफ मैग्नेटाइजेशन कैपिटल एम से मुझे ये पता चल जाएगा कि कोई भी मटेरियल कितना मैग्नेटाइज हो सकता है, एंड इज डिफाइंड एज द डेंसिटी ऑफ नेट मैग्नेटिक मोमेंट और नेट डाइपोल मोमेंट पर यूनिट वॉल्यूम। अब डाइपोल मोमेंट का फॉर्मूला तुम लोग को मालूम था, वो IA से आया था, NIA, दैट इज द डाइपोल मोमेंट और मैग्नेटिक डाइपोल मोमेंट। इसकी SI यूनिट होती थी एम्पियर पर मीटर स्क्वायर या एम्पियर मीटर स्क्वायर डिवाइडेड बाय वॉल्यूम, दैट इज मीटर क्यूब। सो व्हेन आई सिंप्लीफाई दिस, I land up with ampere per meter. So this is the SI unit of intensity of magnetization. The next term is magnetic intensity or magnetic field strength. So there was a sample which was having some intrinsic dipole moment associated with it. Per unit volume is what's called as its intensity of magnetization. Now, the magnetic field that you apply in order to magnetize the substance, the magnetic field that you apply, the external magnetic field that you apply in order to magnetize the given material defines the magnetic intensity. So what is magnetic intensity? It is the strength of the external magnetic field that you are applying in order to magnetize any given material. So this strength of the external magnetic field will tell me how much I can magnetize a substance. ये अगर external magnetic field कम होगी तो जो given sample है वो कम magnetized होगा, और अगर external magnetic field ज्यादा होगी तो हमारा given magnetic material ज्यादा magnetize होगा. It is defined as B naught upon mu naught. What is B naught? B naught is the magnitude of the external applied magnetic field, and mu naught is the magnetic permeability of free space. SI unit happens to be ampere per meter. Now, total magnetic field. So in a space, there is already a magnetic field, external magnetic field present, which is going to magnetize the given sample of material or given material itself. And once that material gets magnetized, it will develop an induced magnetization due to the external magnetic field. So the net magnetic field effect that arises due to the external magnetic field B naught as well as the magnetic field generated induced in the given sample is called as magnetic induction in the space. So when I say magnetic induction, it simply means that the combined effect of both, one that you are applying to magnetize the substance, that is the external magnetic field, and once the substance gets magnetized, so it develops an induced magnetization. So the effect of that also, when these two gets combined together, I get the total magnetic field denoted by the symbol capital B, and capital B is equals to B naught. This is the part of the external magnetic field. And this is the part which is developed due to the induced magnetization. Develop inside the substance. So the combined effect, that sum total of this will give me the total magnetic field in the space. तो बच्चों अब तक आपने तीन चीजें सीख ली। पहला टर्म आपने सीखा इंटेंसिटी ऑफ मैग्नेटाइजेशन, दैट इज शोन बाय द सिंबल कैपिटल एम। फिर आपने सीखा मैग्नेटिक फील्ड इंटेंसिटी H, that is the magnetic field that you are applying in order to magnetize the substance। और फिर टोटल मैग्नेटिक फील्ड B, और टोटल मैग्नेटिक फील्ड B किसकी वजह से आया था? जो कंबाइंड मैग्नेटिक फील्ड प्रोड्यूस हुई ड्यू टू द अप्लाइड एक्सटर्नल मैग्नेटिक फील्ड एंड ड्यू टू द इंड्यूस्ड मैग्नेटिक फील्ड डेवलप्ड इनसाइड द मैग्नेटिक सब्सटेंस। तो ये तीन टर्म्स एसोसिएटेड थे मैग्नेटिक बिहेवियर ऑफ सब्सटेंस। अब इसके अलावा एक और टर्म आता है जिसको हम लोग कहते हैं मैग्नेटिक ससेप्टिबिलिटी, डिनोटेड बाय द सिंबल चाई, CHI। This tells me how easily a substance can get magnetized in the presence of any external magnetic field. Or it simply, I can say it is a measure of degree of magnetization of a substance in response to applied external magnetic field. For example, एक क्लास में ढेर सारे बच्चे बैठे होते हैं क्लास अटेंड करने के लिए। अब ये जो ढेर सारे बच्चे आपके पास बैठे हुए हैं, हर बच्चे की किसी भी टॉपिक को ग्रास्प करने की क्षमता अलग अलग है। कोई बच्चा इजीली अडेप्ट कर लेता, कोई बच्चा इजीली ग्रास्प कर लेता, कोई बच्चे को टाइम लगता है। तो जो पढ़ाने वाला टीचर है वो तो सबको एक जैसे ही डिलीवरी कर रहा है ना टॉपिक की, लेकिन कोई बच्चा इजीली ग्रास्प कर लेगा, किसी को टाइम लगेगा, किसी को बिल्कुल नहीं समझ में आएगा। तो चाई जो है वो इसी बात को मेजर करता है कौन सा बच्चा कितनी आसानी से किसी भी टॉपिक को ग्रास्प कर सकता है। तो इसी तरह से किसी भी सब्सटेंस में मैग्नेटिक फील्ड को अडेप्ट करने की, या किसी भी मैग्नेटिक सब्सटेंस में मैग्नेटिक फील्ड में रखे जाने पर, किसी भी सब्सटेंस को जब मैग्नेटिक फील्ड में रखा जाता है तो कितनी आसानी से वो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड में रखे जाने पर वो मैग्नेटाइज्ड हो जाता है। इस बात को मेजर करने के लिए जो हम लोग टर्म यूज करते हैं उसको हम लोग कहते हैं ससेप्टिबिलिटी, मैग्नेटिक ससेप्टिबिलिटी। दैट इज द डिग्री of magnetization developed in response to the applied external magnetic field, and it simply happens to be the ratio of intensity of magnetization to the magnetic field intensity, यानी कैपिटल M divided by the magnetic field intensity, that was H। तो इसका जो रेशियो है M by H, that tells me the, or that gives me the chi। Since it is the ratio, it will have no unit। I hope these terms are now clear to all of you। So these definition of these terms are important. Often you have been asked in your previous board examination, so please take care about these terms। Now another term that comes is magnetic permeability। इसके बारे में हम लोगों ने, जब मैंने मैग्नेटिक इफेक्ट ऑफ करंट पढ़ाया था तो भी बात करी थी, यहां पर फिर से बात कर लेते हैं। It tells me how easily the magnetic lines of forces, the magnetic field lines of any external magnetic field is allowed to pass through the material। मटीरियल्स का अपना बिहेवियर किसी भी एक्सटर्नल मैग्नेटिक फील्ड की मैग्नेटिक फील्ड लाइंस के लिए कैसा है? क्या वो इसको इजीली अपने से पास थ्रू करने देंगे, कंडक्ट करने देंगे, या उसको नहीं अलाउ करेंगे अपने से पास करने के लिए? तो conductivity of the magnetic field lines through any magnetic material or through any material defines the magnetic permeability of that material। मान लो एक ये रीजन है और इस रीजन में ये कोई मैग्नेटिक फील्ड लाइंस, और ये मैग्नेटिक फील्ड लाइंस किसकी वजह से आ रही है? वो एक्सटर्नल मैग्नेटिक फील्ड की वजह से आ रही है, H। और अब मैंने अगर यहां पर कोई एक सब्सटेंस रख दिया, मान लो अब मैं एक सब्सटेंस रखता हूं, किसी अलग अलग तरह के मटेरियल हो सकते हैं, ये कोई सब्सटेंस रख दिया गया, ये कोई मटेरियल में ले आया, जैसे ही मैं मटेरियल को इस मैग्नेटिक फील्ड के अंदर लेके जाता हूं, तो ये मैग्नेटिक फील्ड लाइंस को क्या वो मटेरियल अपने से इजीली पास करने दे रहा है? अभी तो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड लाइंस ऐसे जा रही थी, अब जैसे ही सब्सटेंस आया तो क्या वो उसको मॉडिफाई कर रहे हैं? जैसे यहां पर क्या कर रहा है ये मटेरियल के पास आते ही, तुम देख रहे होगे यहां पे वो मैग्नेटिक फील्ड लाइंस को कंसंट्रेट कर दे रहा है। तो मटेरियल ये रहा, मटेरियल सैंपल के अंदर उसने क्या किया, सैंपल ने मैग्नेटिक फील्ड लाइन को अपने अंदर कंसंट्रेट करा दिया, यानी इसकी मैग्नेटिक परमेबिलिटी हाई है। हो सकता है किसी और मटेरियल को लाने पे आप क्या पाओगे कि मैग्नेटिक फील्ड लाइंस को रिपेल कर देगा, उस अपने से पास करने दे ही नहीं रहा है। तो ऐसे सिचुएशन में ऐसे सब्सटेंस की मैग्नेटिक परमेबिलिटी लो है, यानी मैग्नेटिक परमेबिलिटी इस बात का मेजर है कि कोई भी सब्सटेंस किसी भी मैग्नेटिक फील्ड लाइंस को कितना कंसंट्रेट कर सकता है, वो कितना अलाउ करता है मैग्नेटिक फील्ड लाइंस को अपने से पास होने के लिए, एक तरह से परमिएबल मेम्ब्रेन की तरह। वो परमिएबल मेम्ब्रेन्स वो मेम्ब्रेन्स होते थे जो सेलेक्टिवली सब्सटेंस को अपने से पास करने देते थे या रोक देते थे। तो उसी तरह से कोई भी सब्सटेंस मैग्नेटिक फील्ड लाइंस के लिए कितना परमिएबल है वो डिफाइन हो जाता है उसकी मैग्नेटिक परमिएबिलिटी से। इसको डिफाइन कैसे करते हैं? इट इज डिफाइंड एज द रेशियो ऑफ मैग्नेटिक इंडक्शन टू द मैग्नेटिक फील्ड इंटेंसिटी। अगेन इट्स अ रेशियो, सो इट विल नॉट हैव एनी यूनिट। तो रेशियो ऑफ मैग्नेटिक इंडक्शन जो टोटल मैग्नेटिक फील्ड स्पेस में डेवलप हुई थी, और जो तुमने इंटेंसिटी ऑफ मैग्नेटिक फील्ड लगाया था सब्सटेंस को, मटेरियल को मैग्नेटाइज करने के लिए, उन दोनों का रेशियो को आप म्यू कहते हैं। वंस अगेन एज आई टोल्ड यू, इट डज नॉट हैव एनी यूनिट, इट्स जस्ट अ प्योर नंबर और रेशियो। इन दोनों का जब मैं किसी भी मटेरियल की मैग्नेटिक परमिएबिलिटी को वैक्यूम या फ्री स्पेस की मैग्नेटिक परमिएबिलिटी के साथ कंपेयर करता हूं तो उसकी बन जाती रिलेटिव मैग्नेटिक परमिएबिलिटी। सो म्यू आर इज इक्वल्स टू म्यू अपॉन म्यू नॉट। व्हाट इज म्यू नॉट? ये फ्री स्पेस की मैग्नेटिक परमिएबिलिटी, यानी अगर फ्री स्पेस में मैं मैग्नेटिक फील्ड लाइंस को भेज रहा हूं तो वो भी तो कंडक्ट कर रही है मैग्नेटिक फील्ड लाइंस को, तो वो कितनी मैग्नेटिक फील्ड लाइंस को कैसे कंडक्ट करती है, जब उसको मैं किसी भी मटेरियल की मैग्नेटिक परमिएबिलिटी के साथ कंपेयर करता हूं तो उस रेशियो को मैं म्यू आर रिलेटिव मैग्नेटिक परमिएबिलिटी कहता हूं। तो बच्चों ये कुछ टर्म्स थे जिसको आपको ध्यान में रखना होगा। सो these terms you should learn them out and prepare them well.